Hi, I'm Andy DeRosso, and I'm speaking today with Rosa Farre. She is in charge of the animation department within the Division of Art here at East Los Angeles College. Can you tell me about the animation program?
Yeah, sure. The animation program is right now, it is a division within the art department. Up until not too long ago, it was mostly focused on traditional animation skills like hand drawing animation. We have changed that completely. We tried to modernize and make the obviously department or the curriculum more relevant. And we've added a whole lot of new classes, and we've also changed some of the existing classes contents to be able to show the more technological side of it. So we're going to be using computers, even if we are going to be doing traditional, what we call traditional 2D animation. We are no longer painting with using pen and pencil. We're using computers. And also we've added actually a lot of 3D classes to do, the typical animation that you see with the latest Disney movies, Ice Age, Kung Fu Panda, all of those. So all of those are done using 3D methods. In addition, we've added a bit more state-of-the-art certificate. We're in the process of completing the certificate in VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality. And hopefully we'll also start it on offering some visual effects classes. That's going to happen in a semester, hopefully. So we are adding a whole lot more new things to make, as we said, to be able to have a much more relevant discipline according to the market and what potential employers might be needing from an animation student. So animation is a term that we use very loosely to kind of mention all of the different disciplines within computer graphics, if you will. Sometimes we use the term animation to refer to character animation, but sometimes we use it for 3D production. Sometimes we use it for other aspects. So the terminology is a little iffy. It's not, so we want to start also teach the students or be able to inform the students at ELAC or at the district level to understand that even though we call animation this whole new set of classes, in reality they should be called visual development or game development or visual effects developments, and all of those are different disciplines within, again, the
Well,
program that we're trying to add.
you mentioned the marketplace. What does the jobs situation look like? Are there plenty of jobs available?
There's a lot of work. Actually, I have some information in here. So the total amount of jobs related to animation, as I said, I'm going to use the term animation, again, loosely to describe these more generic, again, visual effects. And I know that's not correct, but I'm going to use the term because that is what is used in some publications. But anyway, so the amount of jobs related to the animation industry is projected to decrease over the next few years in California. However, because of retirement and other reasons, there's going to be actually a net increase of job offerings, and I think it's estimated to be about 3,000 annually, just in California. Okay, I'm just talking about California. The median salary for a multimedia animation job is about $85,000 in California again. So those are jobs that are not only, again, there's a lot of demand lately, but also there are jobs that are well paid. There is a little bit of a gap between in salary, between working for a company and working as a freelancer. Freelancers always, I think that happens in any other field, but freelancers have a tendency of getting a lower pay scale. I'm not really sure what makes that, but freelancers, the median salary would be closer to maybe about fifty to $60,000 compared to the $85,000 I mentioned for animation if you work for an employer.
Do these jobs require any certifications or diplomas? Do you?
Um, It's that's yeah, it's always a hot topic. In my 20 some years in the industry, I have never looked at a resume and looked at the certificates, diplomas, or degrees. Never, ever. And if you talk to any other people that is in production, in hiring, you're going to see this. They're probably going to give you the same answer. What we value is the demo reel that a person, basically the portfolio that a person has, and whether that person can do the job or not. So it's all about your reel. It's all about your work. You could have 0 degrees, no certificates, nothing, no formal training in animation, and still produce a reel that is interesting. Maybe because you've been lucky enough and you managed to get into some sort of internship. I mean, obviously, it's not normal, right? Most people that get jobs in the industry do have some sort of training. But what I mean is the opposite might happen too. People that have finished the 4-year college, and yet they might have a little bit of a hard time getting hired because their reel is not as good as the reel of somebody that has less training. So it's all about the experience. It's all about your portfolio and how good it is, and that's what people look at.
You mentioned internships.
Mhm.
Do we have any connections for internships or mentorship programs? Maybe a shadowing program?
We do not, and this is one of the things that, well, I'm lying. So we do have a relationship now with Disney. We managed to do that way before, like just not way before, so it's 2 months before the pandemic, and we had to close down. So we do have this relationship with Disney, and Disney offers 2 different types of programs. They have internships, sorry, apprenticeships, and that's something that comes up once, twice, 3 times a year, depending on their production schedule, depending on, and these apprenticeships, they will change again depending on the production. So one year they're going to ask more for people that can do animation, but one year they might ask for people that can do lighting. One year they can ask for people that can do storyboarding. So that changes, every single time these apprenticeships are offered. And then in summer, they do offer internship programs, and those are really sought out after I think they have about 800, 900 applications, and I think they select a very small group of people, like a handful of people. The only issue that we've seen with the community college level is that a lot of internships are, because of the regulations of the internships, it has nothing to do with us, but it has to do with how these internships are formulated. They're generally landing a lot more often on students that are in a 4-year college and they're about to graduate. Because if you read the letter of a lot of these internships, that's what they're asking. They're asking, that the student needs to have a GPA, the student needs to be in the 3rd year of college. So for us at the community college level, we are having a little bit of a hard time applying to certain scholarships because of their rules. And we have been talking to some of these employers about this difficulty, and they are very receptive to that. And hopefully we're expecting that things are going to change in terms of internships over the next few months. There's also a whole lot of internships through the city of LA. However, after looking at these internships, we noticed that a lot of them are for production work, for visual development work. There's not a whole lot of internships for animation, and we're working on that to make sure we can get a whole lot more of internships to our students, or at least that our students can apply and receive those internships. It's really weird how internships, they seem to be only, again, if you read the requirements, most of them, 90% of them, require that you're in your 3rd year of college.
Well, you mentioned third year college and obviously the 4-year universities for most of the internships. How, how do our how does our program relate to the Cal States and the UCs or other four-year colleges? Are our classes transferable? Are they accepted by the by the departments within the universities that we have agreements with?
Yeah, we actually are. We have been working on that on the past year and a half to be able to create articulation or a strong articulation with these universities. And to that effect, that's one of the reasons why we change our curriculum and we change the classes that we're offering, so they align a lot better with the classes offered at the Cal States and UCs. And ultimately, obviously, the receiving institution will decide or gets to decide whether those credits are transferable or not. But for the most part, all of the students, we had a handful of students that transferred last semester. We've had students transferring to Cal State Long Beach, Fullerton, USC. We had a couple of students at USC, a couple of them going to Otis. And my recommendation would be to, if you already know the school that you want to transfer to, or if you have, a list of schools that you want to transfer to, my recommendation would be just to make sure, go talk to the transfer center and have them work backwards, meaning have the transfer center contact the institution you want to go to, let's say USC, and see if what classes they will transfer, what credits are transferable or not, and decide your the classes you want to enroll based on that information. As I said, the idea is, because of the changes we made, our classes are supposed to be transferable because they aligned really well with the classes that are offered at these colleges, but it's the decision lays on the final and the receiving institution and whether they want to accept transfers or not. Just to give you an example, as I said, we had a student transferring to USC, the game development department, and she had no problems transferring there. She got accepted. It was a really great success story. At the same time, we had a student that wanted to transfer to Art Center, and Art Center just this semester decided that they're not going to take any credits. LACCD community colleges, not just us. That was their response. To be honest with you, I think they're really not accepting credits from anybody, not even general ed credits. So yeah, right. So that's something that, because it depends so much on the receiving institution. Even though we have articulation, even though we have a great communication and relationships with these public universities, at least my recommendation is to always go to the transfer center, always talk to somebody at ELAC, at the transfer center, and have them help you figuring out, mapping your the classes that you need to take to maximize the amount of credits that are going to be transferable and eliminate any possible repetition.
No, that's great advice. The transfer center is a very, very good place to get help. Now, I can't think of anything else. We've covered jobs and pay and transferability and things like that. But there is something that is different, something that makes East Los Angeles College just a little bit better than its competitors. What is it?
I'm just going to talk about the animation department because that's what I know the best. But I think, to be honest with you, I've worked at different colleges before I came at ELAC, and I think there is a great group of people that are working to help students right now. Also, with pathways coming, I think there's also a very strong push towards making everything we do more student centered. But for me, at the department level, I think one of our great strengths is that we have these great relationships with students, and I think students feel very, very comfortable talking to us at any given moment. I have a lot of students coming to us and asking, what should I do? Where should I go? This and that. And we're always, we're trying to help as much as we can, but I feel like there's, our doors are truly open, and we try to facilitate, anything that we can. A lot of times we get students coming to us and saying, well, I would, let's say, I have no idea what classes I need to take next semester. So we sit down with them and we help them map their, their classes, or even though it's not our job, right? But we're happy to do that because we're the experts in what we do. Also, we have a animation club, which I feel like it's really, really, really nice. I feel like obviously the students are doing all sorts of activities. We are organizing in an animation festival once a year. Actually, we just finished the animation festival. It was last week. And this was actually this year, it was dedicated to Hungarian animation. And we had a great list of panelists from CalArts. We had Tom Sito. And, this offers the students a great opportunity to mingle, to get to know people in the industry. And I think that's what, these are some of the things that make I think the animation department unique and great to be at.
Well, thank you, Rosa. I really appreciate your time. If there's any further questions, feel free to contact the East Los Angeles College Art Department or Animation Department. And I'm sure Rosa will be there, and they have
Yes.
they have faculty and staff that would be willing to help anybody that has any further questions. Thank you again, Rosa.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.